Good morning and happy Tuesday. So, big picture time, even though we're not on a Sunday, when you do all of, seminar after seminar after seminar, obviously there's patterns. And we talked about yesterday, people who are successful, one of the patterns is a morning routine. They have a specific morning routine that conditions them, embeds in them what it is they're going to do for that day, that week, that month, that year, who they are, what their identity is. So day number 2, what are the other things that they do? When people change their lives significantly for the better, one of the main things that they do is they raise their standards. And I know that sounds like ridiculously simplistic, but it's also ridiculously accurate. When somebody decides that they're going to live life at another level, their standards are completely different. And think about this for a minute. We all know somebody who stays in great shape, who never gets overweight, who always stays within a certain couple of pounds, and they always stay in great shape. Well, that person, if you think about it for a minute, with regards to that area of their life, they have super high standards. Now, super high standards doesn't mean that you're not happy all the time, by the way, but they have super high standards. They will only eat certain things. They always exercise. They make it a must. There aren't exceptions to that, unless there's something really, really significant going on in their life. They have very high standards with regards to that outcome. And as a result, they create very high results and they constantly stay in very good shape. People who have done very well in finances, same thing. People who have done very well in their relationship with their children, same thing. Relationship with their spouse, same thing. They have high standards. So if you want to change your life forever and make it better in every way, expand it in every way, you got to raise your standards. The thing that happens with people when they do that is they think, I only can be happy when I hit every mark. And the reality is even people with really high standards don't ever hit every mark. Or if they do, it's rare that they hit every mark. But they look at what they do well. It's progress, not perfection. So they have those high standards of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But when they don't hit it perfectly, they give themselves credit for what they have done. And what that does is creates momentum. So if you're close to one of these people who've done very well with regards to their health or with regards to their money, listen to how they talk to themselves about the topic and ask them questions. What is it that you always do with regards to your health? Somebody who's in great shape is an easy one because you can see the results, right? As soon as you look at them, you can tell this is a person that works very hard on their health. So you can ask them, tell me what you do. Well, I food prep every Sunday. I only do these things. I only do these things. I exercise 6 days a week, and here's what I try and do, and da-da-da-da. Then ask them, okay, in the last month, how successful have you been at all of those things? And they'll be able to tell you. They'll know what they've done. They keep score. So they'll be able to say, well, last week I did 5 days instead of 6, but so they'll show you how they got close to their standards. But if they didn't hit their standard, they found an alternative that was acceptable and still gave themselves credit. So I didn't walk on this day, but I had time to do yoga. So that's what I did. I wasn't able to run on this day, but I went somewhere where I kept track of how far I walked, and I walked 6 miles while I was at this event or whatever. So they still gave themselves credit. People who don't get momentum in an area don't have as high as standards, but also when they don't hit their mark perfectly, they beat themselves up. And as a result, they get less action. When you reward what you have done, you feel better about yourself, and it increases the amount of activity in that area. When you look at, okay, here's where I missed my mark, so I know that, so I need to know that so that I can close that gap. But here's what I did do well and I gave myself credit for. Now you're going to get more energy into that activity in that area Where focus goes, energy flows. You're focusing on what you did well. The people that go the other way look at it as failure. So they'll set the high standards, but then they'll go, yeah, but I didn't do it here, and I didn't do it here, and I didn't do it here, and I didn't do it here. And they'll beat themselves up, which results in less activity in that area, which results in less output, and then it spirals the other direction. So make sure you set high standards and overshoot your goals. We undershoot our goals big time. I just had a coaching session with someone at the end of this past week, and they were talking to me about their financial goals. And I said, this person owns their own business. And I said, you got to do this a lot more. You got to expand your thinking in terms of what your financial output is going to be, because then that's going to really expand your activity in that regard. You got to expand your idea of what's going to happen. So you set your high standards, you set your goals, and then you set your plan. But then at the end of the week, when you look at how you did, and you need to, because you need to keep score, you don't know if you're winning the game if you don't keep score. When you keep score, look at the areas where you have room for improvement, because they're always there. Always look for the areas where you can do better. But then give yourself credit for what you did do and celebrate that. We are so great at beating ourselves up, and we're so terrible at celebrating what we've done right. Celebrate what you did do. And then say, okay, there's areas for improvement, so how am I going to do that? That's going to result in more activity in that area. That's going to result in more energy in that area. Where focus goes, energy flows, and you're going to create momentum. And over time, and not a lot of time, over time, you're going to see huge results in that area and huge results in your life if you do it in every area. So, hope that makes sense. Thank you very much for watching. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.